Let me into my zone. Let me into my zone. Please don't let me into my zone. 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 Please don't let.
Well, welcome back to Krown's Kudo Cave. A very exciting day in front of us right now. As you can tell by my hair, it's going to be fucking crazy right now. And a few announcements to be making, but before we get into that, I actually do want to build up a little bit of excitement here. There is one thing on Bitcoin that is insanely fucking bullish right now. I'm talking about moon fucking mode right now. Anyways, we'll get into that a little bit later. Now that we got all the moon boys here and situated, then we can go destroy all their hopes and dreams a little bit after that. Anyways, what else do I want to say? I will actually be showing a few other things that do kind of suggest a little bit of hopium, but overall, a lot of the things that we spoke about over the last few days happening. We got that test down to 6,900. I didn't believe that we'd have the momentum to actually break at that time. Since then, we've had a little bit of a bounce off it, as expected. Now, kind of the next judge is, well, do we get continuation or not? And realistically, I think that we're going to be spending a little bit of time within this region. Anyways, let's get on to the actual announcements themselves. The crowntrading.net website is going to be 100% revamped within the next 12 hours. So that means that the user experience is going to become extremely much better. That's not very good English, but you get what I'm saying. And also the Jewel will be coming back later with that. So I'll make the announcements a little bit later today, officially likely on Discord, and I'll probably release a video as well for anyone interested. And of course, just very happy to be bringing that out. As for the Krown trading application, there was a little bit of a miscommunication with myself and the lead developer. And what's actually going to be the destination for it is we're going to offer it up in about 10 or so days. It'll be available through that website that is linked below, crowntrading.net. Again, it will be free for the base functionality of it, and we're gonna roll it out kind of like in pieces, essentially. So we're gonna be building it out with each and every passing week, adding more and more features. As right now we are migrating everything from the former app to the new one, and it's all for good. It's all for good measure because the experience is just gonna be 100% fucking better. So very excited about that, and I do apologize about the slight misunderstanding on my own behalf. That's my fault. So without further ado, let's talk about some Bitcoin bullishness, and this is gonna be the most bullish thing that we see all fucking day. I'm very excited to be talking about this right now, and let's just get into it right here, right now. Waste no more time. Where's the button? There it is. Holy fucking bully, and I can't wait to be showing you this. That's right. The Bitcoin dominance is bullish as fuck. Just as we said the other day, bouncing off the 21. Popping back up above 70% on this baby, and I do believe that long term it is still massively bullish. So what does this mean for the overall market? It means that the overall market is likely going to get crushed versus Satoshis, whether your altcoin is whatever the fuck its name is, likely to lose value versus Satoshis. What this does imply, we've seen accumulation along the yellow 21 exponential moving average, that nice curvature going on right around here. And if you look at this as a bull flag, I would say that was pretty much right, or at least the way that I'm looking at it as well. And while Bitcoin, if we did have another move back down to like about 69%, that would be completely fine. Overall, this is massively bullish here, and we're getting the exact sort of signature that we'd be looking for on on an asset that is likely to go up. So most alts for Satoshis, not gonna be faring all that well. Kind of looks like a little bit of a cup and handle in the making here on the lower term time frames. And what does that mean? That means that if Bitcoin goes up or if Bitcoin goes down from this next breakout or breakdown, we're going to see most alts crushed versus Satoshis. Now, if Bitcoin moves to the downside, I'd imagine that alts going to move down versus US dollar as well. If Bitcoin moves to the upside, alts will either remain stagnant as they've been doing, or rally less than Bitcoin is what this suggests. And this is talking about the whole. It's not talking about just any specific alt. Of course, there's going to be outliers here and there. There's going to be better performance and less better performance. But on the whole, I'd expect most alts to be moving down versus Satoshis. Given our current trend right now, I would say that is more likely to come to the downside. So let's actually get into the Bitcoin spot charts right here. Start off with good old stamp. And once again, we have dipped our toesy woesies into that $6,900 support. Let me just make sure that I'm recording and my microphone's working. Okay, great. Get that out of the way early this time. No fuck ups today. Well, not yet, at least. and yes, so Bitcoin still holding the descending triangle as we've been looking at down around here, pretty much perfectly. And we do see see that our declining tops is still coming in somewhere around about 7,400 now. 7,400 to 7,500 is where that'd be coming in. I do think that the 2-day 21x moving average gets our highs relatively well, especially on a 2-day total closing basis, and our 377x moving average gets our lows pretty damn well on a 2-day closing basis as well. So we've tested it a few times. I think that it's very obvious that we have a descending triangle going in right here, no matter which way that you cut it. If you want to use wicks, you can use wicks. If you want to use bodies, you can get about the same thing. And realistically, while this does say that statistically we are more likely to break to the downside, it would suggest that that's just a statistical narrative of this formation. Descending triangles are essentially bearish redistribution patterns in this case, and hey, could still break out to the upside. But of course, at the end of the day, I would not be calling a breakout to the upside until we actually trade back above and close back above on a higher time frame, meaning like a 12-hour daily or 2-day higher time frame preferred, back above this last prior high right here, which is aptly at about 7,500, 7,550-ish region. So as long as we're below there, Bitcoin's overall bearish, and especially as long as we're riding this descending trend line right here, Bitcoin's just putting in lower highs, and we do have a weekend coming up, and typically what we see is the moves to the upside actually happen during the weekend, and I believe that that's because most of the professionals and most of the big boys are not playing the game during the weekend, as they're on like a 9:30 to 4 p.m. Eastern time schedule, in line with the regular markets, of course, and they probably don't play during the weekend. So during the weekend time, people with the less sophisticated market movers are able to kind of run the markets, and they can have these massive liquidity hunts. And what we've typically seen in this market in general, not always, but in general, the weekend's direction is contrary to the week's trend. So the macro trend governed by the weekly is what happens, Monday through Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday is typically, counter to that direction, and usually counter to the macro direction as well. And that's what we've been seeing. This last run up here was obviously on a weekend. This past one right here was on a weekend. This past one over here was on a weekend, and so was this guy as well. And you can see that they're all the attempts to the upside. We also do see volume signature confirming this formation, although I don't really, we can draw it in right here. So I do believe that first and foremost, this is to be determined as a descending triangle with an apex coming in early February, which does suggest that we do become extremely likely to break somewhere in the middle of January. So coming to the end of, beginning next week to the end of next week, probably likely to break this, and because it is a descending triangle, like I said, the probabilities of breaking to the downside are more than the upside, of course. And if we do break to the downside, I would be looking for a move down here towards about 6,100. Now, contrary to that, and just to kind of map out both sides right now, if we do move above 7,500, 7,550-ish region and close above there, I would look for another move, another extension, very extremely likely at about 78, 7,900-ish region. Personally speaking, I do think that we'd actually work our way upwards towards about 83 to 8,500 region in this blue box territory right here. You'll notice that both of these proverbial targets for that next breakout or breakdown from this formation are essentially in line with the greater channel that we've been living in. So the bottom side of support of this channel coming in right around that $6,100 target, again, around that date as well. If we'd actually just extend this a little bit more, you can see that it actually lines up pretty damn well. And to the upside, I should also explain that to the upside, if you are bullish, you're looking at this likely as a descending broadening wedge, which we can show right here. And the target would be into this region as well, which would be in line with the top side resistance of this baby. And, it's of the greater macro, I should say. And I like the confluences between those two. So we're going to fill out the greater range as far as the descending channel goes, one way or the other, most likely. And the thing with that is that descending channels typically do break out to the upside, but there's no time component of this. So we could spend, a lot more time within this descending channel. I mean, I've seen assets stay years within these sorts of things, and we get walked down the whole way through. And we do see that the declining volume on the channel as a whole is still pretty, leaves a lot of space here, So I really wouldn't expect a break of this channel until, again, about 75% full, somewhere right around here, which would be, late February, maybe March-ish region, is where that becomes very, very likely, I believe. If we go over here to a 2-day, what do we see? Actually, a little bit different, huh? But fair enough. I'll leave that there for now. Anyways, as it stands, we do see all the lower time frame oscillators starting to flip back around. So it is kind of shaping up for a little bit of a weekend test to the upside. 4-hour Stokes headed back up. We got 3-hour Stokes headed back up. 2-hour Stokes headed back up. Hourly Stokes headed back up. So all of them in agreement. Does likely tell me that over the weekend we probably do test a little bit higher. Again, as long as we're below, especially 7,500, it's just another lower high, but that leaves up some space within here. I don't have any real preferences on that. I only have areas of interest, of which the first area of interest is the one that we're in right now, literally right around 72.20-ish region. However, if over the weekend we get another one of those scam wicks to the upside, I'd say the next area of interest would be 73.50 right here, and then the next big one would be about 7,500. So if Bitcoin breaks above there, then that actually changes the picture for the short and medium term timeframes. And like I said, I do believe that we'd go much higher. But for now, don't believe that that's what we're doing. I do believe that we're probably putting another lower high right here or something like that, and then we'll get another try sometime early next week. Something like that would kind of make sense. Anyways, as it stands, hourly is going to be in danger of making hidden bearish divergence here if we do trade below the low of this prior dildo right here at about 71.50-ish region. So if that does get taken out to the downside, I would look for extension back down to about maybe 7,100, 71.50-ish region. So another $100 move, perhaps on the lower term time frame. So I'm starting to call out a few lower term time frames right now. Let's see. Did we just get a move up to a test? So, oh man, I actually tried to trade this move. Oh motherfucker, man! It came literally $1 away. No, $0.50 away. Oh my god! I was offering at 72.19. Motherfucker. Oh well. Happens, man. Okay, cool. Anyways, as it stands right now, do I really trust the lower time frames all that much? No, of course not. I don't really have like a big bias here. These are going to float around. I suppose I would actually be a little bit biased towards another try to the upside, another continuation of the upside. But at the end of the day, likely puts in a lower high, whether it be where we are right now, whether it be about $100 higher or about $150 higher at about 73.50, or whether it gets all the way up to about 7,500. That remains to be seen. But as long as we're below that 75.50-ish region, I am overall bearish, of course. Again, doesn't mean that I can't switch around, of course, but biases are biases for that reason. Anyways, I haven't really checked out RSIs on lower term time frames, but we're going to be in danger of printing hidden bearish divergence in just about all of them if Bitcoin does stall out here. In fact, I mean, as long as we're below about 74.50, I mean, it's all a hard sell, no pun intended. But yeah, so the lower term timeframes, momentum also is turning back up, probably does suggest that we do get another test a little bit higher. How high does that get? I don't fucking know. Anyways, looking at 12 hour, what do we see on 12 hour? 12 hour still held below all major movement averages as it stands. I'm sure a lot of people are getting very, very excited about this move thus far, but might I remind myself and perhaps remind you as well that all these moves to the upside, these quick moves to the upside on very low volume, they've just been lower highs is what they've been. So until Bitcoin breaks something massively structural, nothing new has happened, and go with the former trend until it tells you it's no longer your friend. May the trend be with you in 2020, my friends. Anyways, let's see. Going over to the 12 hour right here, we are going to see likely 12 hour Stokes flip back around. So again, a lot of the momentum also is saying that we do test higher, but lower time frames, medium time frames, I'm not really interested in them right now. It's a higher time frames, and of course those areas very much unchanged. 6,900 to the downside, 75.50 to the upside on a higher time frame close. That's what I'm looking for. Daily Stokes still down, rejecting the bullish control zone, the same area that's rejected us ever since pretty much September, going all the way down from about 10.3, then this high right here, then this high right here, it looks like, this high right here more recently, and once again putting this guy right here. Not a big fan of that. Obviously, daily is more bearish than bullish. We do see that daily is below all major moving averages as it stands. We see divergence even between the 10 simple and the yellow 21 right here, right now. Again, a little bit too early to really be judging this one, to be fair. But all major moving averages have lower periods below higher periods. All major moving averages have negative slopes. All major moving averages are bearish, essentially. We're actually even going to see the cyan 89 expansion moving average cross the downside of the blue 377. Again, very, very similar signature to what we saw back on over here in May of 2018, where Bitcoin topped out at 10,000, essentially getting rejected by the 200 simple right here, this white moving average. Very similar to what we had right on over here. Yes, it did get above, but again, this is why fractals are not real. Fractals are bullshit for the most part. Fractals are something that people talk about who probably don't trade them, and if they do trade them, they'll find very, very quickly that managing risk on something like that is potentially a career-ending move, because you can't really have any way to do it. You always just move it just a little bit more because it always fits in, because it's a fractal. You can just make it a little bit more. Of course, of course. That's the diabolicalness of fractals. They look right, and they probably look right over time, and you would be right about that, but playing them is a whole different story. Anyways, we get the death cross right here, green and purple, green 55, purple 200, same thing right here, 55, 200 crossing the downside, all lower pairs below higher pairs right here with the cyan and the purple, right, same thing right here. Bitcoin below the 21 exponential moving average, this yellow moving average the whole way through. We are trending, and until we actually regain it, the trend is not over, so that's kind of what we're seeing right here as well. I mean, Bitcoin's still below it. Doesn't mean it can't get above, but all these moves above that we've seen happened on weekends again, so I do consider that, not as important as the weekdays action. If we go to CMEs, you'll see exactly why. And then Bitcoin, eventually does actually test back up to all major moving averages, even the 200 simple. But the 200 simple gets a negative slope at that point, and we're seeing that happen actually in front of our very eyes right now, as it's starting to really sustain the negative slope on the lows, which does not look good. So if Bitcoin did rally back up at some point, I would say that the 200 simple is a very, 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 very like one of those explosive rallies, like a President fucking Winnie the Pooh getting up there, type of rally. I would be looking at perhaps some around the 200 simple, which, by the way, is very much in line with the long-term descending trend line from our $14,000 highs, getting 14,000, getting 13,300, getting 12,500, getting 10.5, and wherever we kind of approach it from, probably somewhere right around here, would actually be in the mid eights, and declining over time, of course. Other than that, I do think that, I do want to draw this one out here as well. Let's just see. Yeah, so the apex on this, as far as the volume signature goes for the descending channel, does come to an apex late April, early June, it looks like. So we're probably going to be stuck in here for a while, is what this suggests. Anyways, looking at, what else do we want to look at? What else do we want to look at? Let's go to a 2-day. What about 2-day momentum oscillators? We are seeing 2-day Stokes curl back down around, rejection of the bullish control zone. More importantly, it doesn't look too hot right there. Kind of splitting hairs right now. Let's go look at the lower time frame historical volatility percentiles. Did we actually get a spike up? I'm imagining that the hourly did. Yeah, of course it did. Okay, good. So that's what we wanted to see. That was kind of telling us that yesterday we were going to have a move. Let's see. What about the 2 hour though? What about if we get a little bit more aggressive with this? 2 hours actually just meeting this trend line that we had in. So still kind of within it, still kind of saying that we're overall in a consolidation phase since December. I think we can very easily see that, going back on over here. And it's all related to each other, which in this case would be, a downtrend. We do see that 3 hour doing the same thing, kind of spiking back up again. But we're still seeing overall contraction. So the thing with that is that the lower timeframes are kind of, expanding, contracting a little bit more rapidly than the higher timeframes. Of course, that's to be expected. But what it's telling us is that the lower term timeframes are getting the moves within the triangle better, is getting the moves within the triangle, which they should be getting. And then the higher term timeframes are telling us, hey, now we have potential to actually break out or not. And the higher term timeframes are saying that we still have a little bit of waiting to go, especially looking at like a 4 hour right here. You can see that this declining trend line right here showing that we still probably play within this region for a while before we get like the move or the big move, which is going to be the break of either 69 or about 75.50 to the upside, whichever one happens first. And in this case, I'd have to say that I am a little bit biased to the downside, just given the overall trend. Of course, I want to be very, 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 very forthright with saying this. I will not call a reversal on Bitcoin myself. Not that Bitcoin can't reverse until we create an uptrend on the weekly. That's just been the easiest way to trade Bitcoin, and I would say that at this point, to get a higher high, we'd have to get back above 9,500. So still got a lot of work to do. And 9,500 is actually well below not only all these major moving averages on the weekly, but of course, even the daily 200 simple, as we looked at earlier, is kind of crawling its way below 9,000 soonish. So that's a lot of downwards pressure on Bitcoin. So even if it had like a $2,000 rally, it's hard to flip around to being a Bitcoin bull from this current region, unfortunately. But we can have, big, massive moves to the upside from this region as well. Just doesn't change the overall trend. So I want to be very, very much in tune with that. Looking at weekly Stokes, we do see that weekly Stokes are pointing back up. In fact, holding the same trend line that we see coming back from over here. Again, another point on the bullish side. However, as long as we're in the bearish control zone, well, that is that is all of 2018 essentially. We didn't break back above there until March of 2019. So that's actually gotten extremely well as far as control zones go. Weekly RSI is bearish. Still in the bearish control zone. Weekly Jewel is curling back up a little bit. So a little bit of a stutter step here. It's telling us that we probably don't break down this week. Very likely we don't break down this week. In fact, let me look at all the time frames Jules. Do we have any sort of signals going on? No. 4 hour, no. Oh, we did have a 4 hour Jewel sell signal on Ethereum yesterday, I believe it was. Let's go see. I think it was like a 4 hour maybe. Yeah, it was. And this was another reason why I was getting bearish yesterday for a test back down to the low side of the range right here. We spoke about this on Twitch, and that took us from about 132 all the way down to 126. So Mr. Buterol still hanging into this this rising channel bear flag off the lows. I'm gonna imagine that Litecoin's doing the same thing. Yeah, kind of the same thing. Actually broke the rising wedge to the downside, but what do we have now? We just make a channel. Same fucking thing. You know, this is why I don't really care for diagonal trend lines. They always can be rewritten. They're technically both right. Right way of doing that. Anyways, okay, back onto Bitcoin. So there's another big thing that I want to say about this right here. So when coming up with biases on this, of course, you know, lower highs, lower lows, downtrend, fucking bearish. But because this is being drawn out as a descending triangle down around here, and like I said, it's always it's a statistical probability of which way it's going to break out. It's just the probabilities are on the downside with a formation like that, and also given the overall trend. But to take that one step further, we can put on the monthly, and this is probably going to be the last time I mention it for a while. But if we put on the monthly accumulation distribution indicator, which is one of those things that I check very seldomly, like only a few times a month. It kind of help, you know, gauge what was going on. And we do see that it's gotten a negative slope here. And I only care about the slope on this bitch. It's gotten, you know, the slope change on this every time has been pretty much right. We had a positive slope change in January 2019. That was quite literally low. We had a slope change in March 2018. So, you know, it didn't necessarily get the $20,000 high, but hey, shorting at $10,000 or sorry, $12,000 at this price point. Pretty fucking good. And then same thing back in 2014, getting the bull trap in June very, very well, and getting the turnaround in July extremely well in 2015. Anyways, my point with this is that if we do have a negative slope on this, essentially suggesting distribution, then it would be valid to say that on the lower term timeframes, like that 2-day, that this whole month, you know, being kind of more marked off as distribution within the context of a descending triangle does tell me that that's more than likely the right way to be looking at this, and it's probably not a descending broadening wedge, which is of course more bullish formation. I would expect the accumulation distribution indicator to have maintained its upslope. It did not. We're actually in fact getting our first downward slope since literally a year ago in January of 2019, when again Bitcoin pretty much bottomed out at 3,100. So yeah, a lot of things to be aware of in this region. A lot of things to be aware of here. But overall, you know, the major areas still pretty much are the same. I do think that it's now appropriate to be talking about the 2-day death cross potentially impending on exponentials. We do see the green 50 and the purple 200 converging on each other rather rapidly. So sorry about that. Highly unprofessional. But what we do see over here is that they are converging on each other, and if we actually do get, you know, if we actually do get them pretty damn close, I would say that that's going to likely be the death kiss on sending this much lower. Again, you know, we see a descending triangle right here as these two guys converge on each other. In fact, even the 200 exponential moving average is starting to like go with the downtrend resistance, which is really, really nasty. But you know, you can see that they're, you know, if you kind of like use your mind's eye to draw them out here, you can see that they'd probably cross, assuming that Bitcoin does not rally back above 7,500. Again, this huge assumption being made here, massive fucking assumption. Assuming that Bitcoin does not rally back above 7,500, 7,550-ish region, somewhere around here, they'd probably converge on each other and cross, getting the death cross officially, and that's pretty much in line with you know, that sort of like mid to late January date for extreme likelihood of breakout or breakdown, which I stick with. Anyways, looking at the Bitcoin VWAP ratio, we do still see that this is overall bearish. We see that we see the same signature that has led on to all 70% plus corrections in the past, except for this one. This one has still not met a 70% plus correction. In fact, we have only, well, not only, but we've done about 50, I think. Yeah, 54% it looks like. So pretty big. It's not like anything to just, you know, discount. but you get the point. So again, all the prior ones, basically being marked off right on over here in the bull trap of 2018, the high at 20,000 in 2018, the bull trap of 2014, the parabolic high of 2013, the other parabolic high of 2013 right here, another 70% correction, and then this guy right here. All of those having the same signature as what we're looking at right now, which is just the purple VWAP, which is kind of like the middle of them, and the pink being below the regression line where my cursor currently is right now. I'm not going to go through the full explanation because it's boring and I've done it a million times. So if you want the full explanation on that one, definitely go to the long-term playlist, long-term analysis playlist. So that's where it's going to be most appropriate to. Looking like Bitcoin's actually going to try to flag out here, so not bad. So still no, we haven't confirmed a local high here, even on like an hourly. So could Bitcoin take another leg up? Yeah, absolutely. 75.50, or sorry, not 75.50, 73.50 would be kind of like the next area that I'd be looking towards. That would kind of make sense. Anyways, okay, cool. And maybe over the weekend, something like that. Okay, there's one other thing that I wanted to present for a bullish case on Bitcoin. I do want to be balanced here. I want to be fair and balanced, just like Fox News. And, and if you're not American, you probably don't get that. But what I want to show here is the echo chamber of the fucking hash shitcoin ribbons. Sorry. Hash ribbons, the very important hash ribbons, which in the past have accurately gotten the buys and the sells mostly right. But here's what I'm going to present today, in that essentially anytime we've gotten these buy signals on it, they're not good timing signals. They don't get the momentum well at all. But what they do well is that they essentially they get let's just fucking look at it. They get the low in. So we get a buy signal right here. Bitcoin obviously comes back down to retest around the lows, but the low's already in, as soon as you get that buy signal. It takes a long time afterwards. So as far as timing, terrible. As far as getting the general trend, okay. Helps confirm, I suppose. Same thing right here. We get a buy signal. We do come back down to the prior spike down. It holds up, and then, continuation of the upside. Same thing right here. Bitcoin gets a buy signal right here. We obviously rally up a little bit, then come back all the way down to the lows and then continue the rally. But we don't make new lows. This guy right here would have been terrible one to take even before that. And then this guy right here, same thing. It's terrible timing, but the low is in as you get that. And then same thing back on over here. Actually, this one was a pretty damn good one for both momentum and timing. This one right here, okay. This one right here, terrible. This one right here, terrible again. But the low is always in. That's what I really want to show there. So we did get a buy signal on this more recently, which is why it is, which is why I'm kind of talking about it right now. And Bitcoin's, already kind of put in or would proverbially have the low already in at 6,400. So if Bitcoin does, if this is to be right, that's kind of what you expect. Bitcoin comes back down, tests a little bit lower, or tests around the prior low. So, could we come back down to like 6,600, 6,400 and still be fine? Yeah, actually, yes. We have certainly seen that in the past, and that's fine. So yeah, that would be on the more bullish side, because it would say that this is the low. We can come back down and retest it. That's fine, but we'll likely hold up above it. So I do want to present both sides, but again, it won't be until we actually flip around the overall macro trend where I would really be comfortable saying that is, what to be looking for. Okay, what else do we got? We already looked at a couple of shitcoins. I think that's enough for that. Let's go look at traditional markets. Oh man, crypto anarchist going to hate this one. New all-time highs. So I was wrong about the pullback to start off the new year. Or actually, we did get a little bit of a pullback. Yeah, we did get a little bit of a pullback. We pulled back into the gap right here from end of 2019. Yeah, so we got the pullback. Okay, great. 322.5, and then boom, new all-time highs. Extremely strong. Again, we've been bullish on this for a long time. I see no reason not to be bullish on this. Monthly is incredibly strong right here. Anyone who's bearish on traditional markets for anything other than like a short-term move is they've joined a gang. They're not looking at reality. This is incredibly bullish formation right here. Long-term health and well, benefiting quite well from that. We do see that monthly RSI is showing us that we have plenty of room to go. This is really, really good here. We even broke this trend line on this ascending broadening wedge, which is looking damn good. See monthly Stokes looking pretty good over here as well, although they typically don't like to get too much higher than where we are right now. But overall, the oscillations between this area and our lows ever since 2009, that whole debacle, kind of get in the range overall, and again, outline the bullish controls on the whole way through. So I really, really like that. Long term, short term, like I said, even short term right here is bullish. But now this is getting crazy. So now, since we have once again done another one of these nice little moves here, we can actually move up the point of even short term bullishness up to this region right here at about 323 spots 7. So 323 and 70 cents. As long as we're above there, even short term, medium term, long, and of course long term as well is going to be bullish. We're even seeing 4-hour Stokes cross back up to the upside. Daily sticking up there, which is what you expect. Daily RSI looking good. So overall, I'd be looking for continuation. If we did get a pullback, probably somewhere down around here, 323 spot, 323 and a half, we'll call it. If we do break 323, I don't necessarily get bearish, but I do get short term looking for more down, probably somewhere down around like 320-ish region. And I wouldn't really get bearish on this until we actually like go below maybe 315 from like a medium term time frame perspective, and maybe even long term at that point. But it's just been marching its way up. This is the beauty of just trading with the trend. Let's go check out the dollar index really quick. Let's see how this one operated yesterday. It looks like it actually did have an up day. So yeah, bouncing here a little bit on the daily, but what about the weekly? This does look bearish to me overall, actually. We did break this rising channel to the downside. But man, trading this would just be a fucking headache. I do still think that we have a little bit more downside, probably down to like $96. Let's go check out some dollar yen. For some forex down, as we spoke about yesterday. We are getting that move. We've almost hit the target at 107.8. So I still think that we got a little bit more to go, and then I'd actually probably extend that after a little bit of a bounce here coming into next week, all the way down to about 107 even. This is another major lower high, and we do have hidden bearish divergence here? No, we do not actually, but we had regular bearish divergence, to be fair. So fair enough. But yeah, I'd look for a little bit of a bounce here, and then probably continuation. Of course, it's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Pound yen doing our downside move that we spoke about. Holy fucking shit. Oh man, this is fucking beautiful. So a bounce when we were looking for a bounce, now coming back down. I do think that short term comes back down to like 140.8. Longer term, like months away, I still think that it comes down to about 138 region, 138 and a half. This is a macro lower high right here. The second that we take out last week's low, which we came about, holy shit, very, very close to doing, and probably going to happen today. It is in danger of happening today, then I'd look for this to really start to chew its way into like the 139.5 region right here. Again, major hidden bearish divergence looks nasty, and so we're seeing this over a long time play out, which is looking cool. Gold looking damn good. As we've been bullish on gold, I'd still be bullish on gold. Weekly Stokes looking damn strong. Weekly RSI looking extremely strong. Formation looking extremely strong. This is a bull flag breaking out to the upside, and we have exceeded. We have not met. We exceeded our second target, 1535. Didn't even really see a pullback there, did we? I would still be long-term bullish on gold, but short-term, medium-term, I probably would start looking for a pullback anywhere within this region between here and 1550. Longer-term, I do think that it works its way above 1600, but it's looking good. And of course, we do see that gold does have a correlation with Bitcoin on the longer-term time frames, which I've been showing. I'll briefly bring it up right here, and I'll probably start to wrap this bitch up with this. Hey, where am I recording? All right, good. We're 33 minutes in. Cool. I might even make this under 40 minutes. Really excited about that. If we throw on the correlation coefficient, again, I've done this a million times, so probably already are aware. We do see that on a weekly, the trend is correlated. So gold breaking out does bode a little bit better for Bitcoin. So fair enough. If I am looking for reasons to maybe flip around, this would be one of them. And then also another one that people are going to fucking hate, man. They're going to absolutely hate this one. But on SPY, if we go to, and SPY needs to be looked at on a monthly for the longer term trend, we do see extreme positive correlation pretty much for all Bitcoin's history with this asset. So crypto anarchists are, who are rooting for this to come down are misled or misguided or letting their own biases get in their own way. Strong traditional markets is very, very good for Bitcoin, and traditional markets going up here, is another reason why I'd say, while I do think that Bitcoin probably goes a little bit lower, I wouldn't get like super bearish on Bitcoin. I don't think that it's going down to like $1,000 or $3,000 or anything like that. I think it's more likely that we bottom out either at the current level, like the mid sixes, or if we go all the way down to, mid fives or mid fours is kind of where I'd be looking for. So yeah, looking at Bitcoin right here, I think I'll kind of close with this. I forgot to mention this, but again, you probably already know this. Looking at our 2-day chart right here, we do see that the downwards measure move, if we do break this to the downside, would be coming in right around low sixes, upper fives, which is pretty much in line exactly with this horizontal liquid zone that we see all throughout all of 2018, getting these lows right here. And it's also kind of like the last of the higher value nodes from a volume profile standpoint as well. So it does make sense with a lot of things structurally speaking, and I would be looking for a bounce there. I don't think that Bitcoin actually would bottom there though. I think that it'd actually have a failed bounce and then probably work its way down here and fill out this gap in volume. So yeah, that in that area on a weekly would be somewhere around the 200 simple and 200 exponential moving average, I would imagine as well. Yes, indeed, you do see it right around here. So they're slowly but surely making their way up into that region. So yeah, longer term, I still think that is it's a long term game, of course. Shorter term time frames, do we spend a little bit of time ebbing and flowing within this region? Yeah, it looks to me like we are set up to probably extend the bounce a little bit more. Areas of interest here with no particular preference. 73.50, well, our current area right now, we are being stopped by the 4-hour 200 simple to be fair. But 73.50 would be the next one, and then 75.50ish one would be the big boy. So we are heading to a weekend, so we probably do get a little bit of counter trend pressure, counter trend movement, and that's what I'd be looking for right around here. Anyways, of course, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor in any way, shape, or form, nor do I claim to be. And yeah. I suppose it's also appropriate to talk about what would make me bearish once again. If we it's hard to get like super bearish in this region until we break back down below 7,100 on like a 4-hour total closing basis. If we can do that, then yeah, pressure's on to the downside once again. But I don't really think that moves happens until next week if it does happen. Anyways, with all of that said, I think it's time for me to wish you the best and the happiest. I think I've been forgetting that recently too, man. So I do apologize about that. I'm always wishing you the best, always wishing you the happiest. And I also want to remind you that Twitch is going to be going later tonight as well. We've been doing like long live streams on Twitch instead of doing doing the shorter ones in the morning and then a short one in the evening. It's just been long ones in the evening. I've been having a shit ton of fun getting to know everyone and just hanging out and having like kind of charts in the background. And then gaming in the foreground and doing a little bit of trading here and there, talking some shit and having a lot of fun, man. It's been a phenomenal community over there, and I want to say massive thank you to everyone joining on in because it's been really enjoyable for me, and I hope the favor has been returned to you as well. With that said, like I said, I will make an announcement later today if the website is indeed ready to go, which we believe it will be. We're just waiting on a few more things, but so far so good. And like I said, the jewel's going to be coming back with it. So yeah, with that said, take care, and until next time.